He was born on the Pine Ridge Indian Reservation in South Dakota. He has appeared in countless concerts and done many benefits across this country. He recently started his own recording company, Tatanka Records Incorporated of Denver, Colorado. Ladies and gentlemen, Buddy Redbow.
What's that I see circling over the black hills? Its wings expanding, slowly descending every time it opens its eyes. Lightning bolts fill the skies, and the thunder, it is crashing. It can be heard. It's the Thunderbird. It's a Thunderbird. Could this be the legend that my grandfather told me when I was just a young boy, when I was only 7? He said, grandson, someday, when a dark moon covers the sun and a Thunderbird comes after you, do not run. You're gonna ride on a Thunderbird. You're gonna soar on a Thunderbird. Like my ancestors before me, I will take the journey back to the other world where I will be forever free. I'm gonna fly oh so high. I'm going back to never die. I'm gonna ride on a Thunderbird. I'm gonna ride on a Thunderbird. Someday in your lifetime, if you should ever see the Thunderbird, have no fear, no, don't be scared. He'll take you back, he'll take you home, he'll take you where the buffalo roam. And you're gonna ride on a Thunderbird. I'm gonna ride on a Thunderbird. I'm going back on a Thunderbird. I'm gonna ride on a Thunderbird. Ooh, I'm gonna ride on a Thunderbird. Woman, I love you and I need you so, but oh, I'm slow. Don't you cry for me, I'll be back, just you wait and see. We are your done, she locked up. Ash one ain't blowing kilo. Schau im Schnee, doch schau ugly still. Wherever I may go, wherever I may be, you know you'll always be the only one for me. So don't you cry for me, I'll be back, just you wait and see. Don't black ash, no Dokyawa Bishla Yodan Shila Yellow Shaw Shishnil Dokshaw Ugly At night before you go to sleep, please pray for me. But don't you cry for me. I'll be back, just you wait and see. I'll have it nicht ewig dachan. Watch me chayo. Asho shishnu. Dokshaw ugly. Don't you cry for me. I'll be back, just you wait and see. Oh,
You've seen a small example of some of the songs that Buddy Redbow sings and songs that he has written himself. A little later on in the show, he's going to sing Black Elk and Run Indian Run. But right now, we'd like to talk a little bit about how you got started into singing professionally.
Well, when I was about 19 years old, the first professional show I did was in Los Angeles at the Palomino Club. A friend of mine was playing there, and they had a talent show. They paid, I think, it was $200 if you won. And I went on there and I sang, in fact, I sang Run Indian Run, and I won a talent show. And from there on, I got introduced to different people in the business, and now I'm working for a man named Dick Darnell out of Denver. He produces a group called Stallion. They're just out now, and they are on Casablanca Records. And that's who I'm working with now. And we're going to do an album in November of 10 of my, what we call the spiritual songs, such as Thunderbird, you know, and Black Elk Song.
I think what a lot of people don't realize, that especially non-Indians, is that the art of writing seems to be a natural talent for a lot of Indian people, because they write from deep within themselves, just the way you compose some of your songs.
Yes, and in fact, some of them come in my dreams. I'll dream a song, and I'll wake up in the morning, and they'll be there, the music, everything. And I know it's not really me, it's a gift from the spirits, you know, that gave me these songs. In fact, when I wrote Thunderbird, I wrote that for my grandfather, Pete Tubles. When he passed on, he used to tell me that legend about the Thunderbird in the Black Hills. See, we didn't have no radio or TV and that when I grew up, so I used to sit and listen to the old people tell stories. And when he passed on, that day afterwards, I had that dream, and the song, everything came to me, the lyrics and all.
Now, you're trying to get started into the business with Tatanka Records.
Yeah.
And tell me some of the problems you're in it and trying to get financing to get this business going.
Oh, I went to various organizations and talked to different people about, see if they would finance an Indian record company, you know, to do traditional music, to put down legends, take the Indian talent that we have all over the country and try to give them a helping hand and get their music heard and get them into places where people wouldn't ordinary take an Indian. Like I sneak into a lot of living rooms with some of the records that I'm putting out, you know, that otherwise wouldn't let me in, you know, and some people sit and listen to some of the problems of the Indian. And I was really disappointed because a lot of people I thought would help me just said that there's not a market for that, or they gave me one excuse after the other. They said I could do go down to Pine Ridge there and at the office and put in for some things, which I did, and I did up here in Rapid too. I never heard a word from them. You know, a lot of guys took down all the ideas and probably threw it in a trash can. I don't know.
You know, we talked a week ago to some people from an Indian Business Development Organization, And this is one of the things that we ran into in our conversation, is that the business that you're going into, in essence, is an intangible business. It's an entertainment business, and therefore,
Right.
you know, it's shaky to begin with, according to the people who are lending the money. Is this what you've run into?
Oh, that's one of the things. And then they say a lot of the things that I want to put out and say are so political. People are scared of the things I'm saying through my music, let alone people that I record. And they're saying that I'll just put more wood on the fire if I go in and do what I'm doing.
Well, what are some of the messages you're putting out in your songs, trying to get across to the people?
What I'm trying to get across to them is try to go and learn about the real American Indian, to learn what they're really made of, not what they hear about in the news or see anything. Like if I was to go downtown and run over a bunch of people and shoot up a bank, they'll have me all plastered all over the papers, the front page and everything. But if I, like what I'm doing now, I've got little or no publicity at all. See, I'm trying to do something good, you know, for the Indian. And that's why they seem to take the bad part of the Indian and always push it up front. There's people that are even unknown, that are very beautiful people throughout the country, that are Indians, that have done really nice things that nobody even knows about, you know?
Yeah, so I run into that all the time.
Oh, shit.
Could you tell us a little bit about the album you
This
have
here
there?
is my first album that I put out. It's about Chief Foolscrow. He lives in Kyle, South Dakota. And on the album is one side of it's in English, and the other is in the Lakota language. And he tells kind of a lecture type thing. He tells little legends, and he sings some of the songs that have never hardly ever been sung, that people won't ever get to hear unless through something like this. And in it I have this here pamphlet that comes with it, and it tells, it's written, all the things that he says are written in English and in the Sioux language, you know. And it shows pictures of his home, different places. But what was really something here that I was driving away from his home. I turned around and looked, and we were talking about the President of the United States, and see, this is how he lives. He just luxurious. This is our chief, of the Lakota Nation. This is his home, type thing, you know. But still, the wisdom that this man has is unbelievable. The love he has for all people, not only the Indian, it's all races, you know. And that's why I'm trying to put this across, and it's going to be so throughout the United States and overseas. Yesterday I got a phone call saying that Casablanca Records is going to carry this in Europe. So that was a great break for me, you know.
Now, do you actually have offices for your recording company in
Yes,
Denver?
in Colorado. In Colorado, it's on South La Pan, right in Denver. And I have these here out here around town, the Sioux Museum, you know, and I think they're the only ones that are really going to carry it. The other places have taken a copy and said they would get back with me, but I never have, as usual, you know.
So how did you finally end up raising the capital to get this thing going? I know the expense of buying the equipment is probably phenomenal.
Oh, geez. Finally, I met a man that I worked with 7 years ago. In fact, he recorded me one time, a long time ago, and he was struggling in the business. And now he's on top. He's right in with the big wheels, and his name's Dick Darnell. And the love that he has for the American Indian is unbelievable. He feels what I feel in my heart. And we got to go together, and he knew I had this dream 10 years ago. And he said, "Are you ready to do it?" And I said, "I sure am." And we came down and got Grandpa Foolscrow together, and we recorded some at his home and some in Denver at the studio. And so that's how I finally, I got help from someone that believed in what I did. And Indian business people that I thought would really flip out over something like this just kind of shunned me off.
So where do you go now? What is your future as far as recording? And
Well, we've got one more album that we want to do. We've got it all recorded and set. After we get this one rolling is the Sons of the Oglalas singing group. Is an Indian singing group that I'm putting out. And my album that I'm coming out on my own label is we'll start production in November. And we'll have 10 songs on there, so that's where I'm heading now.
will they be a lot of the songs that you'll be singing for us? Do you have some?
Yeah,
for us
4 of
today?
these here. These 4 are going to be on there.
What about some of the other songs?
Some of the other songs are like songs about, like my friend the Buffalo tells about a little Indian boy coming from the reservation, and and his standing with his grandfather looking through a fence, seeing the buffalo up here at the parks. And the little boy remembers that after his grandfather's gone, like buffalo are gone, and he tells about those things, how he wished he could cut that fence and let them buffalo run free, you know. But he tells them, he said, I'm just like you. I said, I'm on a reservation fenced up too. So that song tells in there, and I've got, I'm trying to do a variety of stuff, you know, mostly spiritual stuff, you know, like this one song I got is A Journey to the Spirit World, as tells about when you die, supposedly where you go, where I believe I'm going to go. You know, and it says in the song to get yourself ready, prepare yourself, you know, every day. And then I think the American Indian, from the day they're born, they're preparing themselves to die. I've learned that, you know, from my grandparents, and I do. Every day I always get up. I'm happy to see the sun. I'm always happy to be alive, but I'm ready, you know, when it's time to go. I feel I've prepared myself to a point where if it happens even at this moment, I've done things to
that
leave
reminds
a message, you know.
Buddy, we were doing a show recently at Holy Rosary. We did the Red Cloud Art Festival, and we'll get in a little bit. I know you're an artist also, but the person that was doing the news article was a non-Indian.
Right.
And he viewed the art. I mean, there were beautiful art from all over the United States, from the Southwest, from Oklahoma. You probably attended the show.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
And one of the comments he made in passing was why this attitude on death? Why is everything, you know, why the premonitions, why the pictures on death? And I think that he missed the whole point in that it was actually a part of the whole circle.
Yes, it's circle life. Is
And
a
it
circle,
wasn't
you know.
focusing necessarily on death. Is that what you feel about it? Or?
Oh yes, I have a lot of artist friends of mine. I do a little drawing and painting now and then, but everyone always says about, in fact, there's one artist from Richard Table where I grew up named Eddie Tibbles. I'm sure you've seen his paintings in the country.
Yes.
And he used to paint up here in the Black Hills, you know, and he got run off there, you know. He was sitting along the road painting, you know, people, parks people ran him off, you know. And, but his paintings were of, you know, like the burial scenes and things like this, beautiful stories that he was telling. And he's had people come up and say, why do you have a yearning to die or what? I said, no, I just want to show that life is a circle. You know, you're born, and you live and you die. That's just it, you know.
A little bit about, I know you're really into, with your whole life, into the spiritual aspect now, with Chief Foolscrow and things.
Right.
Tell us a little bit about what you feel personally on the transition. I know, like myself, you probably were brought up in a Christian religion, not by choice, but you saw something different in the Indian religion. Tell us a little bit about what your feelings are about
Well, see, I was more fortunate than a lot of the Indian kids today, because in the year when I grew up, I was fortunate to have a lot of the traditional Indian people around me. And so I hung out with them more than I did with the church-going people. You know, my grandmother went to church, though, and in fact, she used to have me sing in a church, you know. But I was always longing to go to a Uweepi or go to a powwow. Powwows were the highlight of my life, you know. We went to 2 or 3 a year, you know. And the young people today, they don't know how fortunate they are. They got cars to run to all these powwows. There's a powwow every weekend. Then we only had like 2, you know. But they were big ones, you know. And I feel that all the younger people, the teenagers now, are going back to the traditional way of life. I just came back from a Sundance over in Porcupine, and I seen 20, 30 young people participating in that religion, that Sundance religion. It made my heart feel good.
It's a whole new world for a lot of the Indian children now.
Oh, it is.
Much different than what we had.
Yeah, yes. Yeah, there are a lot of the big hardships I think we've faced.
Well, we're going to take a short break, and we're going to get right back with Mr. Buddy Redbow.
Ready?